Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into the observation records of Tommy Yoshida, also known as Yoshida Tsutomu. We're going to explore some absolutely fascinating ideas about human-AI interaction and really dig into Japan's unique path forward in the tech world. So let's jump right in, shall we?
Now, before we get too deep in the weeds, I want to share a quick quote from Yoshida's notes. He says, "Unfinished thoughts, pending questions, and thoughts that do not need to be closed remain as they are, on the premise that we are still in a transition period." I love this, and it's so important for our chat today. We are not here to force a definitive conclusion or grade how good AI is. We're in a massive transition phase right now. So if things feel a bit open-ended or raw today, that's entirely on purpose. We're just here to observe and explore.
Section 1. The Global AI Race and the Reframe.
Okay, take a look at this number, 11. That is Japan's recent global ranking in the AI sector. Now, if you're thinking about Japan's massive history as a global technology nation, that number might seem a little shockingly low, right? But it actually sparks a really brilliant question from Yoshida. Instead of agonizing over this ranking, we need to step back and ask, where exactly should Japan actually be competing?
Because right now, the global AI race is pretty polarized. You've got the US and China just pouring unbelievable amounts of money and resources into a brute force war over foundation models and massive computing power. Competing on that exact same playing field, honestly, that's a seriously tough uphill battle for Japan. But Yoshida points out a major pivot. Japan's real winning path isn't in just building the AI itself. It's actually infusing AI with something Japan is already world-class at: frontline execution and operations.
Think about domains like manufacturing, healthcare, elder care, disaster management, public administration, construction, education, the list goes on. Japan has spent decades building up this massive treasure trove of high-quality expertise and an absolute obsession with quality in these specific real-world fields. So the goal shouldn't be the AI arms race. It should be totally dominating AI utilization, taking those existing rock-solid frontline strengths and supercharging them with AI.
Section 2. The Communication Gap.
But here is where things get really interesting. Because when we try to apply AI to the real world, we hit a massive wall. And it's actually a linguistic one. You see, human languages, and this is especially true for high-context languages like Japanese, are completely full of unstated assumptions. We omit subjects all the time, right? We just naturally get what the other person means. But AI doesn't do vibes. It needs literal input. So when our messy, high-context human input meets a literal machine, the AI often spits out something that sounds totally plausible but is completely misaligned with what we actually meant. Which brings us to a huge aha moment. We are so obsessed with making AI smarter and faster. But what if the real innovation we need right now isn't a smarter AI, but a better way to make our own human intentions clearer? Like maybe we need to rethink the entire interface of how we talk to these machines before they even start processing.
Section 3. The 0.5-step confirmation layer.
To fix this communication gap, Yoshida proposes something brilliant. He calls it a 0.5-step confirmation layer. Normally, you type a prompt, it goes straight to the AI, and you get an answer. Boom. But this idea inserts an intermediate step, a buffer right in the middle. It's a step that literally pauses to check the human's work before the AI is allowed to do any actual reasoning.
So what exactly happens in this 0.5 step? Well, the system essentially acts as a translator for your intent. It spots ambiguity, it points out if you forgot to include key conditions, it fiercely protects what you actually meant to say, and it asks you necessary clarifying questions. Basically, it helps you figure out exactly what you want to ask, and only once that is crystal clear does it hand the final instructions over to the AI. And just to be super clear here, this is not just some fancy prompt engineering trick, and it's definitely not a safety filter or a guardrail. This is a fundamentally new type of interface. It's a pre-interpretation confirmation layer. It's built specifically to bridge that crazy gap between how humans actually think and speak and how AI needs to consume data.
Section 4. The Future AI Interface. So why is this so absolutely crucial? Let's go back to those frontline industries we talked about earlier. We're talking about legal services, healthcare, government administration. As AI becomes deeply embedded in these high-stakes areas, we literally cannot afford misunderstandings. A misinterpretation in healthcare or disaster management could be catastrophic. In these domains, clarifying human intent before the AI even starts thinking isn't just a cool feature, it is an absolute requirement for safe, effective collaboration. And this leaves us with a really fascinating thought to chew on. As we dive headfirst into this era of human-AI collaboration, how are our interfaces going to evolve so we can actually understand one another? Japan's struggle with high-context language might actually be the very thing that births a universal interface that the whole world needs. Because at the end of the day, the biggest challenge of our time might not be building smarter machines, but finally mastering the art of making ourselves perfectly clear. Really makes you think, doesn't it?